What if I told you that one simple daily habit could reduce your risk of almost every common disease after 60? Would you believe it? Or would you think it sounds too good to be true? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I will share the story of two friends, and through their journey, you will discover practical tips for living longer, staying active, and keeping your mind sharp well into your 70s and beyond. And before we dive in, here's something fun. As you listen, choose one tip that feels the most relevant to you and write that number in the comments. If you agree with tip number 3, then simply type the number 3. This way, you'll not only remember the tip, but you'll also help others who are listening to notice it too. The story begins. Meet Richard and Samuel, two men who grew up in the same small town, went to the same school, and even worked at the same factory for most of their lives. At 55, they were nearly identical in health. Both had a little belly fat, both liked their weekend barbecues, and both believed that aging just meant slowing down, feeling stiff, and taking more pills every year. But by the time they reached 70, their lives looked completely different. Richard was still walking his dog every morning, traveling with his wife, and playing with his grandchildren on the floor without struggling to get up. His doctor said his blood pressure was perfect, his cholesterol steady, and he was taking no medication other than a simple vitamin supplement. Samuel, on the other hand, spent most of his days in front of the television. His knees hurt, his back hurt, he had diabetes, and his doctor had prescribed him 5 different pills for blood pressure, cholesterol, and pain. He felt tired all the time and often joked that he was just waiting for the clock to run out. So what happened? How could two men with the same background end up on completely different paths? The secret habit. Richard decided in his mid-50s to adopt one daily habit, a habit that research shows can erase up to 90% of age-related disease risks. That habit was intentional daily movement. Not running marathons, not lifting heavy weights, just simple, consistent movement every single day. Walking, stretching, light body exercises, gardening, dancing with his wife in the living room, anything that kept his body active. It sounds almost too simple, right? But the science is clear. Light to moderate physical activity done daily reduces the risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, dementia, depression, and even certain cancers. Why the body needs movement. Think of your body like a car. If you park a car in the garage for 10 years without turning it on, the tires rot, the engine rusts, and the battery dies. But if you drive it regularly, even short trips, the engine stays lubricated, the battery stays charged, and the tires remain strong. Your body works the same way. The joints need movement to keep the cartilage nourished. The muscles need resistance to stay strong. The heart and lungs need regular activity to stay efficient. Without movement, the body begins to stiffen, weaken, and shut down long before its time. And here's the amazing part. It's never too late to start. Even people who begin exercising at 70 can cut their risk of early death almost in half. So let's break this down into practical steps that Richard used and that you can use too. Tip number 1, the 20-minute walk. Richard made a rule. Every single morning before breakfast, he would walk for 20 minutes. Not fast, not slow, just steady. That simple walk improved his circulation, lowered his blood pressure, and cleared his mind for the day ahead. Studies show that walking just 20 minutes a day reduces the risk of heart disease by up to 30%. So, here's your challenge. Tomorrow morning, before you pick up your phone or turn on the television, go outside or walk around your house for 20 minutes. If this tip feels like the most doable for you, write number 1 in the comments. Tip number 2, the power of light strength. Richard didn't join a gym. Instead, he used 2 water bottles as light weights.
Twice a week, he would do simple movements, lifting the bottles overhead, squatting lightly while holding them, or pressing them forward like a gentle push. Why did this matter? Because after 50, we lose muscle at a faster rate. Less muscle means weaker bones, slower metabolism, and higher risk of falls. But with just 2 short sessions a week, Richard maintained his strength. So if you feel that you need to keep your muscles active, this tip might be yours. Write number 2 in the comments. Tip number 3, the stretch for the joints. Samuel always complained about stiffness. Getting out of bed hurt, bending down hurt, even tying his shoes felt like a chore. Richard, however, spent 5 minutes every evening stretching. Simple movements, touching his toes, rolling his shoulders, rotating his hips. That short routine kept his joints lubricated and his body flexible. Scientists say that stretching improves blood flow, reduces injury risk, and even helps with sleep quality. So if you agree with Richard that flexibility is freedom, type number 3 below. Nutrition, the fuel of longevity. Of course, movement alone isn't enough. What you feed your body is just as important. Richard didn't follow a strict diet. He simply made small, smart swaps. Instead of red meat every night, he added fish twice a week. Instead of soda, he drank water or tea. He added more vegetables and fruits, especially berries, and he cut down on processed snacks. These small choices gave his body the nutrients it needed to repair cells, fight inflammation, and support brain health. Meanwhile, Samuel kept eating the way he always had: fried foods, sugary desserts, and large portions. Over time, his waistline grew, his energy dropped, and disease followed. So here's a practical rule you can remember. Eat food that looks like it came from the earth, not a factory. Fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, whole grains, and lean proteins. If you think nutrition is your biggest challenge, write number 4 in the comments. Mental fitness. The mind matters too. Now let's talk about something often overlooked: mental health and social connection. Richard read books, learned new card games with his grandchildren, and kept in touch with friends from his old job. His brain stayed sharp because it was always being challenged. Samuel, on the other hand, isolated himself. He watched television for hours, rarely saw friends, and didn't try new activities. Over time, his memory began to fade, and his mood declined. Research shows that staying socially connected reduces the risk of dementia, while loneliness increases it by as much as 50%. So here's another daily habit you can adopt. Call a friend, join a club, volunteer, or even learn a new skill. Your brain thrives on novelty and connection. If mental health and connection resonate most with you, write number 5. Sleep, the hidden healer. Richard also respected his sleep. He treated it like medicine. Every night he went to bed at the same time, kept his room cool and dark, and avoided heavy meals late at night. Good sleep restored his body, repaired his cells, and kept his immune system strong. Samuel often stayed up past midnight, snacking while watching television. He slept lightly, woke up tired, and relied on caffeine to get through the day. That lack of deep sleep weakened his immunity and worsened his chronic conditions. If better sleep is what you know you need, then type number 6. Prevention is easier than cure. Here's the truth. Most of the diseases we fear in old age are not inevitable. They are strongly influenced by lifestyle choices. heart disease, diabetes, dementia, arthritis. While genes play a role, daily habits have an even stronger impact. Richard's story shows that small steps, repeated every day, create a long, vibrant life. Samuel's story reminds us that neglect and inactivity steal years from us long before our time. The final call to action. So, which path will you choose? Think back to the 6 tips I shared. 1. A daily 20-minute walk. 2. Light strength training. 3. Evening stretching. 4. Smart nutrition choices. 5. Mental fitness and social connection. 6. Restful, regular sleep. Pick the one that speaks to you most right now and type that number below. Remember, you don't need to start with all 6. Just one habit, practiced daily, can change your health story. Because longevity is not about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. So tell me, are you more like Richard or Samuel today? And which number will you start with?